Welcome, top-tier elite anime subscribers, to the Anime Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep, really deep into the philosophical fantasy travelogue genre. We're putting two modern giants head-to-head, Kino's Journey and Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
Yeah, these are fascinating ones to compare. On the surface, they share that core idea, right? The lone traveler, strange world, unique customs.
Exactly, that shared foundation.
But when you actually dig into the material we've looked at, their execution, their emotional core, they're just worlds apart. So our mission today is really to unpack that, to highlight what makes each journey so unique and, why they hit so hard with audiences, especially for viewers like you who appreciate that depth.
Okay, so let's lay out that foundation first. Kino's journey. We've got Kino, a young traveler, and Hermes, her talking motorcycle, which is amazing in itself. And they explore these countries, each with these really specific, often bizarre sociological setups. It feels like a tour of human absurdity sometimes, maybe even tragedy.
Totally. And then you flip to Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. And this one, well, its structure is super unusual. It starts after the big quest, after the Demon King's defeated.
Right, that's the key.
It follows Frieren, the elf mage, on this pilgrimage, almost. A retrospective journey to the resting place of souls, all sparked because she realizes she missed something important.
And that distinction right there, that sets up our whole comparison. Kino is defined by detachment, wouldn't you say, strict observation.
Absolutely. The goal seems to be see the world, but don't get changed by it. And definitely don't try to change it.
Whereas Frieren, man, it's all about regret. Profound regret, really. And then this quest to reconnect, to understand what she missed.
It's that core difference.
Yeah.
External observation versus internal transformation. Looking out versus looking in.
Okay, let's dive into the characters themselves, because that's where these philosophies really live. Part 1, character differences.
Let's do it.
Starting with the protagonists, Kino. She's human, a teenager, maybe 15, 16 years old, something like that.
Yeah, the sources usually place her around there.
And her motivation, it's not exploration for its own sake, is it? It's actually driven by fear, like a deep-seated fear of settling down.
That's exactly it. That's the engine driving everything. She travels specifically to avoid putting down roots.
That 3-day rule.
Never stay more than 3 days in any country. It's this rigid, self-imposed principle, like an exile she chooses.
Why, though? What's the fear?
The material suggests she's afraid that if she stays longer, she'll stop being a traveler. She'll become part of the community, part of the very thing she's dedicated to observing from, a distance.
Wow. Okay, no, contrast that with Frieren, an elf over 1,000 years old. Her motivation isn't fear of the future, it's pain about the past.
Intense pain, yeah. Her lifespan is so long that the decade she spent with her human companions, Himmel, Eisen, Heider, felt like, well, nothing. A blip on the radar.
And Himmel's death is the catalyst.
Absolutely. It hits her hard. She realizes, wait, that was important. I should have known them better.
Yeah.
That regret is just palpable.
So her new journey is driven by wanting to understand humanity, that fleeting nature she missed.
Exactly. To learn about it, maybe replicate it, appreciate the connections she almost completely overlooked because of that, typical elven apathy or long view perspective.
It's like one character is running away from commitment and the other is running towards understanding it.
That's a great way to put it. And you see it in their personalities, too.
Yeah, Kino is so composed, stoic. Sometimes you just can't read her. Precocious, definitely.
Very. And witty in a dry way.
And that brutal honesty she has, the self-loyalty. If she helps someone, the sources always emphasize it's because she wants to. Not duty, not morality, just choice.
Is the ultimate detached observer. Right?
Yeah.
Cool, collected, often morally ambiguous.
Then Frieren. Initially, she's the picture of emotional distance.
Yeah.
Decades fly by for her. So she actually has to struggle to become less detached, less apathetic.
Right. But that struggle and her natural distance is also where a lot of the humor comes from, isn't it?
Oh, totally. The material we looked at points this out. Her deadpan reactions, her monotone voice sometimes, it creates these brilliant, low-key, funny moments.
Because her internal clock is just so different. She reacts to, rapid-fire human silliness or emotion with this 1,000-year delay.
Yeah, like when she spends ages trying to open a modern chest with some ancient, totally useless spell.
Yes. Or casually mentions learning a technique took, 50 years, completely oblivious to how insane that sounds to Fern or Stark.
It's that clash, her immense age versus the mundane day-to-day stuff of travel. That's where the wit shines.
They're also both incredibly capable, though, just in completely different ways.
Right. Their skill sets. Kino's a master marksman, practices her quick draw every single day. She's traveling armed.
Heavily armed, calls her weapons persuaders, which says a lot.
And the specifics we found are important. She has the cannon, that big .44 revolver, but also the woodsman, a smaller .22 pistol.
And the detail about the woodsman.
Yeah, the material specifies it's used for hunting humans, but without intent to kill. That's huge.
It really is. It shows that even when she chooses to engage, there's a layer of philosophical choice in the tools she uses. It's not just survival. It's about adhering to her own code, her selective morality about interference, tactical violence only when necessary.
Frieren, meanwhile, her power is magic. Immense magic.
Frieren the Slayer, sometimes called the last great mage. Her power level is often tied back to her training under Flam, the legendary great mage.
So Kino uses tactical firearms and knives. Frieren wields this vast, ancient magic, often hidden behind that kind of detached exterior.
Two very different kinds of formidable.
And there's that other layer with Kino, the identity nuance. The sources mention she actively questions, or at least avoids, gendered language for herself.
Yeah, which leads a lot of fans to read her as potentially non-binary. It fits her whole philosophy, doesn't it? Non-interference, even with self-definition. Keeping labels at arm's length.
For Frieren, the defining trait isn't really about identity in that sense, it's just time. That incredibly long elven lifespan colors absolutely everything.
Right. The 10 years with Himmel felt short. The whole narrative is her trying to overcome the practical and emotional weight of immortality.
While Kino's trying to sustain the freedom that comes with her, very mortal traveling life.
Okay, so what about their companions? Because they play really different roles, too.
Totally different. Part 2. Side characters. For Kino, the main one is Hermes, the talking motorcycle.
The Bros Superior. Their relationship feels purely symbiotic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hermes gives her the speed, the means to enforce that 3-day rule. Kino provides the balance, the direction.
And Hermes is often the comic relief, asking all the questions, mispronouncing things.
He's kind of like the audience's voice, right? Asking the basic moral questions, Kino just deflects.
Yeah, exactly. But even her interactions with the other recurring characters, like Shizu and Riku, they're kept at a real distance.
Shizu the swordsman, Riku the talking dog. They're important structurally, though. We found they act as a sort of moral counterweight. Well, they don't have Kino's neutral ideology. They often want to intervene to solve things based on a more, conventional sense of right and wrong.
Ah, okay. So they highlight Kino's detachment by being the opposite.
Exactly. And there's that detail. Later on, Kino seems to only vaguely remember Riku's name.
Oof. Yeah, that perfectly underlines her commitment to emotional distance. No ongoing attachments. Pretty cold, really.
It might stem from her past, though. We get glimpses of her mentor, Shishu, who taught her marksmanship.
Right, and the source material suggests Shishu herself had a pretty rough, maybe greedy or even cruel, traveling youth.
So maybe Kino's hyper-neutral, detached persona is a conscious rejection of her teacher's path, a reaction against the chaos of intervention.
That makes a lot of sense. It provides context for why she's so rigidly non-involved.
Okay, now compare that to Frieren's companions. They are absolutely central to her entire story arc.
Oh, completely. You've got the past party and the new party.
The past party. Himmel, Eisen, Heiter. Himmel isn't just a companion, he's the emotional core, the catalyst. His death, her regret over not knowing him, that drives everything.
And the way the story uses flashbacks is brilliant. They aren't just info dumps. They give new emotional weight to past events that Frieren herself had brushed off.
Like Himmel always polishing his slightly gaudy statue.
Exactly. Things Frieren ignored at the time. We see these moments and we understand the depth of connection she missed. It shows her growth in retrospect.
And that leads right into the new party. Fern and Stark. They aren't just sidekicks. They're the living, breathing humanity she's trying to understand now.
Fern, the apprentice mage adopted by Heiter. Stark, the warrior apprentice trained by Eisen. They provide those messy, dynamic, human interactions.
They're essential for Frieren's development, aren't they?
Absolutely. All those little moments, Fern comforting Stark when he's scared, their slice-of-life arguments, the humor, Frieren has to observe it, participate in it.
So this new party is like her actively trying to replicate, but this time appreciate, those fleeting human connections she missed before.
Precisely. She's consciously trying to, walk slower, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Pay attention. It's a complete reversal of her previous immortal apathy.
Okay, that flows perfectly into the next section, part 3. Storyline, themes, and narrative approach.
Right. How the stories are actually told.
Structure first. Kino's journey is pure episodic parable, wouldn't you say? At least the 2003 series. Each episode is its own little philosophical short story.
Definitely. They're only linked by Kino passing through standalone thought experiments.
And that 3-day rule isn't just character stuff, it's a narrative tool. It enforces that non-interference policy.
Yeah, she doesn't stick around to fix things, no matter how messed up the country's customs are.
Can we use an example from the material, like that country where war is decided by points?
Oh, yeah, the one where they accumulate points by massacring innocent third parties. Brutal.
And Kino observes this, judges it internally maybe, defends herself as needed, but she never tries to stop it, never saves the victims.
Nope. Non-interference is absolute, which makes it intellectually jarring for us, the viewers.
Right. The focus is sociological, questioning values, communication breakdown, violence, often ending tragically or melancholically.
And it has that weird contrast with the almost fairy tale vibe of the world itself.
Yeah.
You expect a hero, but Kino's not a hero. She's a mirror, reflecting the society back at itself and us.
Okay, Frieren, totally different structure. It's a continuous pilgrimage, a linear quest to the resting place of souls.
But the genius is starting it after the main adventure is over. Defeating the Demon King is the backstory, not the plot.
Which immediately sets up those themes. Legacy, memory, the weight of emotions over time.
Yeah, it's not about the doing of the adventure, but the remembering and reevaluating of it.
And the pacing reflects that, right?
Yeah.
It shifts between big action moments and quiet slice of life.
Exactly. You get intense stuff, like fighting powerful demons or the whole first-class mage exam arc, which is pretty high stakes.
But then you also get these lovely, quiet moments of just traveling, teaching Fern magic, dealing with Stark's anxieties.
And the flashbacks are the key structural mechanism. They constantly give new meaning to things we thought we understood, just as Frieren is reevaluating them herself.
So let's nail down the central themes. Kino's core philosophy. That phrase sums it up. The world is not beautiful, therefore it is.
Yeah, it sounds cynical, but the sources describe it as more complex, like a radical acceptance.
Accepting the beauty and the ugliness, the absurdity, the tragedy, the loneliness.
Kind of. It's finding a strange sort of beauty by acknowledging all of it, the good and the bad, without judgment or the need to fix it. Kino's non-interference forces us to do the moral work because she won't give us an easy answer.
It makes it intellectually compelling, doesn't it? Simple on the surface, but deep. Layered, but you can follow it.
Very addictive in that philosophical way.
Frieren's core, then, is time and connection. That feels right.
Definitely. It's this really poignant look at mortality, but through the eyes of someone immortal who's learning empathy, often with that gentle humor, too.
Her whole struggle is confronting regret, overcoming that deep-seated apathy, realizing the values she missed because human lives felt so fleeting to her.
Yeah, that delayed appreciation is central. The narrative keeps showing her realizing, sometimes centuries later, the significance of small things Himmel did or said.
Like the statue polishing again, symbolizing his commitment to legacy, something she just didn't get back then.
Exactly. So Kino finds depth through distance. Frieren finds depth by closing the distance.
Frieren is putting in the effort, making real relationships, realizing that the shortness of human life is what makes it precious.
Two completely different paths to profundity.
Okay, let's talk visuals. Part 4, art style and production quality. How do the studios bring these different vibes to life?
Well, for Frieren, you've got Madhouse. And they're known for high-quality, fluid animation, right?
Oh yeah. Trigun, One Punch Man. The season 1 adaptation of Frieren got rave reviews for being basically flawless.
It really did. Everything flowed so well. The quiet moments, the big fights, it set a gold standard.
And the visual atmosphere. Cozy, calm, pastoral sometimes.
But then, bam! Stunning magical spectacle when it needs it. It matches the tone perfectly.
And the music. Evan Cull's score was highlighted as being perfectly integrated, enhancing the emotion, the action.
Totally. Madhouse returning for season 2 is a huge vote of confidence. Continuity is key there.
Now, Kino's journey. 2 main adaptations, different studios, different looks. The 2003 one was by ACGT.
And that one's praised for consistent art quality, fluid movement. But it had that distinct visual style, that slightly grainy look.
Yeah, or like an interlaced video effect. Why did they do that?
The thinking seems to be it contributed to the serious, almost documentary feel. That aesthetic distance matched Kino's philosophical detachment.
Okay, that makes sense. Then the 2017 version by Lurch, this one got more mixed reviews visually.
Right. It had moments of really lovely background art, making the world look appropriately beautiful, as one source put it. But the lighting.
The lighting was controversial, described as heavily saturated, sometimes ugly or overblown.
Yeah. And the question is, was that intentional? Was the saturation meant to be jarring, reflecting the absurdity of the societies?
Or was it just not as subtle? Did it undermine the mood?
The material leans towards the latter sometimes, suggesting the flashy visuals occasionally took away from the quiet philosophical moodiness that the 2003 version really nailed. It maybe lost some of that intellectual distance.
Interesting trade-off. Okay, what about action scenes? How is conflict handled?
This really highlights the difference again. Frieren is praised for elevating the action.
Meaning?
Madhouse took battles that might have been just a few panels in the manga and turned them into these full-blown, detailed, meaningful fights.
Like during the mage exam arc, those replica fights.
Exactly. They weren't just cool action, they were character development, major turning points for Frieren and Fern. Frieren uses her power, reinforcing her Slayer rep, but it's always tied to protecting her new friends or honoring her past.
Okay, so action serves character and plot development. What about Kino?
In Kino's journey, action feels more functional. It serves survival or illustrates the societal violence she's observing.
She's skilled, she has the weapons, but the focus isn't the fight itself.
Right. It's slice-of-life adventure first. Even in combat-heavy arcs, like the Colosseum story in the 2017 series, critics noted only the important fights get fully animated. Others are skipped.
Why? To keep the focus on the societal point, the absurdity of the competition or the brutality of the law.
Precisely. It's not about celebrating Kino's skill. She fights to maintain her ability to be a detached observer, not to change things or prove a connection.
So fighting for growth versus fighting for distance.
Exactly. Perfect summary.
All right, let's bring it together. Part 5. Defining greatness and synthesis. Why did these shows resonate so much?
Well, Frieren's reception has been just massive. Universal critical acclaim for the anime. That 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for season 1 is wild.
Yeah, that's almost unheard of. And it wasn't just critics. It hit #1 on My Animalist and Anime News Network for a while in 2024.
Dethroning long-standing champs. Plus, it swept awards Best Drama, Best Director at Crunchyroll, Animation of the Year in Tokyo.
And the cultural impact is tangible. Manga sales over 30 million, highest first print run for Shogakukan recently. That's mainstream success.
Even things like the Himmel theory meme becoming popular show how deeply his character and Frieren's view of him caught on.
Okay, so Frieren is a critical and popular juggernaut. What about Kino?
Kino's journey has more of an enduring legacy as a cult classic, right? Especially the 2003 version. It appeals to that specific audience looking for philosophical depth, sociological questions.
And it's known for rewatch value. People watch it multiple times.
Yeah, the sources mention viewers watching it 4, 5, 6 times. They say the depth, the nuances of Kino's reactions just get richer each time.
It's described as simple but not simplistic, deep but not confusing, intellectually addictive.
Exactly. It doesn't rely on epic fights or huge emotional payoffs. The satisfaction comes from the contemplation itself.
So two very different kinds of greatness. How do they complement each other?
They both nail the philosophical travelogue genre, using this skilled traveler exploring different ways of life. They both tackle big themes: mortality, society, humanity.
But from opposite emotional poles.
Right. Kino finds its depth through detachment. Her neutrality forces us, the audience, to grapple with the ugliness without an easy heroic fix. The depth is externalized.
We do the heavy lifting, morally speaking.
Yeah, whereas Frieren finds depth by closing the distance. Her struggle is internal, overcoming apathy, learning the value of fleeting moments and connections. The emotional journey is inward.
So if we had to synthesize, Kino asks, how broken can humanity be? And kind of shrugs, accepting the answer, maybe using her woodsman just to keep observing.
Well, Frieren asks, how do I finally feel the warmth of the humanity I almost missed? And spends centuries actively chasing that feeling.
They map the whole spectrum, don't they? External observation versus internal connection within the genre.
Perfectly put. Two distinct, unforgettable ways to explore what it means to travel, live, and, be human.
Okay, wrapping up then. Part 6. Conclusion.
We've really dug into the connections, but also the huge differences between Kino's stoic journey and Frieren's quest fueled by regret.
It really is a fascinating comparison. Two incredibly successful ways to find meaning in a world that's both, well, terrible and beautiful, sometimes at the same time.
Yeah. We hope this anime deep dive gives you, our top-tier elite anime subscribers, a refreshed way to look at these masterpieces. A reminder that there's always more to think about, more to appreciate.
Whether the world is beautiful or not.
Exactly.
All right, that's our deep dive for today. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to give that like button a tap and definitely subscribe to stay tuned for more top-tier anime content. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay strong, stay real, stay top tier.